Hello, welcome to On a Mission. I'm your host, Greg Chapman, joined today by Della Sellers. Della, tell us about who we have here today.
Good afternoon, Greg. This isn't another exciting episode. I'm getting a chance to not only introduce you guys to a dear friend of mine, we've had a chance to do several events together, from Jack's Bridges to helping SBLYs as the Jack's Chamber. So today I get to introduce to you guys Priscilla Sparrow. She is with PR Insurance Agency. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So Priscilla, can you tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what is it that you do on our mission here in town?
Yeah, so PR Insurance Agency, I'm an independent broker. And so what that means is I have the flexibility to kind of look at a broad variety of options around Medicare, health, and life insurance. My tag is protecting families, building legacies is my mission.
Wonderful. Health insurance is one of the things that I feel like, even as an adult, is one of the most challenging things for us to be able to do.
Yes.
I've said for a long time, in Girls of Virtue and Men of Vision, we call it Adulting 101.
Yes.
You know, the day we turned 18, everybody expected us to know how to lease or buy a house, to do our money, to do health insurance, to do car insurance. But I don't ever remember having a class on what was I supposed to do with health insurance.
Me either.
So if you're giving some advice to our average consumer when they're looking at trying to do that, what do you recommend?
So I recommend nothing wrong with doing your homework, but there is so much information out there. It really would be most helpful to sit down with someone who could really lay out the different variety of options. Insurance is very complex. I find that most people are confused just by understanding what their options are, what's available to them, and how to really make the decision that's best for them. And so as an independent broker, I'm able to do that.
Okay. Greg?
Cool. So as we were talking before and listening, and again to echo Della's point of insurance is confusing. I had the thought that the way our laws are written, kids can stay on their parents' insurance now till 25, I think it is.
26 in
26?
most cases, yeah.
And so now we are prolonging that education. Like it was 18, like we came out and we had to figure it out. Maybe you had to 21, depending on, how old you are.
Right.
But now 26, I mean, we have adults right now who are starting off or kind of making their way into a career who have no idea the differences. And so how would you advise someone to, like you said, do your own homework? But are there some resources that you would point people to kind of get a head start on some of that?
Yeah, so I recommend too. So I can kind of speak personally to that as a mom of 20 something. So between the ages of 25 and 31 are the ages of my children. And so they're coming to me with their own questions and employer options. And so even if you have your children who are under 26, but over 18, bring them along for the conversation. We're often sending them to the doctors now at that age by themselves. So for them to understand what is a copayment, what questions to ask, and how to understand what those insurance options mean. Something as simple as making sure that you're in the network instead of being out of the network could also make a big difference to your pockets. So I say bring them along for the conversation so they'll start to understand.
I think that's huge. When I think about it, we work with a lot of, population where our students are already working at 15, 16 years old. And then that student, the day they turn 18, they're not on a parent's insurance policy. Like they've probably never had one, to be honest. So it becomes their very first opportunity to have access to even health insurance. And it becomes such an overwhelming thing.
Yeah.
And then you make one wrong purchase and then all of a sudden you can't take it to anything.
Right. Because the decision in most cases is you're taking those options during an open enrollment period. And so if you find yourself in an election that now you wish you had done something different, unless you have a life event, you have to wait until the next enrollment period to make that change. So that's definitely something to consider. And especially going back to if you have children who are kind of within that age bracket and maybe they're turning 26. So that will create a life event outside of an open enrollment period. But you also only have a certain window of time, sometimes 30 to 60 days, to find a new option for that that individual.
So confusing.
I feel like I'm already behind with my kids. So,
I'm 40 and I feel like I'm behind.
need to start early with my kids. And so,
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, insurance is one of those things that I don't think you realize you need it until you need it. Like even now, as mid to late 40s,
Right.
I don't every day because you don't think about it.
Right. And that's another important factor when it comes to life insurance. To your point, a lot of the young people think I'm young, or the healthy, I'm healthy. But what happens is when you need it and it's not in place, you're in a pickle. You really are. And so from a health insurance perspective, it's hard sometimes to get written, or if you are in a situation where pre-existing conditions won't be covered. Life insurance is better to get it when you're most healthy than waiting till you're older. Maybe your health is not where it was when you were younger, and now you're being faced with two things: either you're uninsurable and you're not able to be underwritten, or you're just kind of in a place where it's going to be super expensive because you're going to be rated on that premium.
Yeah.
So as we kind of wrap this up, it is very clear that all of us are agreeing getting educated help in making those decisions about our insurance is important. But I also want to try to leave some people with the importance of also getting proactive about our health.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you see impacts for people on their health insurance and their life insurance where it is beneficial for them to be intentional about what are they eating and weight and those kind of things? Is it helpful to stay proactive about those things?
It is crucial to stay proactive about your health. And so as much as I talk about insurance and options, I'm also very much promoting living a healthy lifestyle. So adequate amount of sleep, exercising, being very conscious about what you're eating day to day. All of those things make a big difference. Now, I'm not one that's going to push you into counting your calories or making sure you're working out an hour and a half at a time. But what are the small steps that you can take that will make a big difference? Sometimes those 10-minute workouts, those 30-minute walks, really being conscious about, your meal during dinner time versus eating a heavier meal during lunch. All of those can make a big difference in your overall health.
Agreed. It's those small little lifestyle things that I think it's not that you're going to train for 2 hours. It's, can you get up 20 minutes early and just go for a walk? Can you grab the apple instead of the bag of Cheetos? Little things like that. So thank you so much for taking time to join us today.
Yeah,
great. Is there any information that you want to share with them so that if somebody wanted to get connected, how do they get connected with you to talk about insurance?
Yeah, so I am not hard to find. Priscilla Sparrow, PR Insurance Agency. I am on Facebook. I am also on LinkedIn. I have a website, prinsuranceagency.com, that will also have a way to fill out a contact form or to email me directly, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
That's good. Priscilla, we sure appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you.
And to those out there, thank you for joining us for On a Mission.